That's Nick.
And that's Joseph. And today we're here to talk about Black Phone 2, the 9th film directed by Scott Derrickson, which is being released courtesy of Universal on October 17th, 2025.
This person did Black Phone?
Yes. We also reviewed his previous feature, The Gorge, which did feature my girl Sigourney Weaver, even though I wasn't a huge fan of that either. Doctor Strange, the remake of The Day the Earth Stood Still, Sinister, of course, and what I believe to still be his best film is The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
What is Black Phone 2 about? As Finn, now 17, struggles with life after his captivity, his sister begins receiving calls in her dreams from the Black Phone and seeing disturbing visions of 3 boys being stalked at a winter camp known as Alpine Lake. What is your pull quote?
Offensively corny, unforgivable trash. The grabber has only come back for your cash.
Mine. A weak echo of better horror films, like any Nightmare on Elm Street installment, Black Phone 2 stumbles with a ridiculous story, cringeworthy dialogue, and a near-complete absence of real scares.
Oh yeah, this is capital D for derivative in every sense.
I feel bad wearing these people's t-shirt, but I thought this movie was terrible.
I don't. You made money on the first one. I don't know why Jason Blum can't. Again, you don't need a big budget to write a good story. So Mr. Derrickson and C. Robert Cargill, the screenwriter, I mean, I think it's offensively stupid.
And it has over 80% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, which makes me feel like Jennifer Lawrence and Die My Love. Like, I just don't understand.
I mean, I didn't drink that Kool-Aid, and this is my opinion, so I don't feel the same at all.
I have so many notes, I'm just going to start there.
Let's get it.
So, we watched a film from 1982 called Murder by Phone.
Starring Richard Chamberlain, yes.
Where people are just dying after receiving a phone call, and like they explode. And
the kills are kind of unbelievably fun for actually a really dull horror film. I guess coincidentally that was 1982, which is the year that the bulk of Black Phone 2 is set.
But strangely, that movie made a little more sense to me than this one.
Oh yeah, hook, line, and sinker it did.
Okay, it was a rocky start to this film as we start in the Rocky Mountains in 1957 with some really crunchy green screen on a frozen lake where this woman is just making a phone call saying that she saw something nasty in the woodshed and saw some phone numbers carved in ice. And we get to hear this woman, who ultimately is named Hope, say the same dialogue like on 4 different occasions. Okay, really quickly, a side note. I just learned that music video for Lisa Loeb's Stay, I Miss You.
It was directed by Ethan Hawke?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Number 1 music video of 94?
Yeah, he's in this movie, of course, as the grabber, although I don't think he needed to be.
No.
And I'm not convinced that we only just hear his voice. You think you saw his eyes?
I think that is Ethan Hawke.
I don't think it's him, but whatever.
Good for him for collecting his cash. You know what? I think this opens on the same day as a much better film that he stars in called Blue Moon. So if you like decent cinema, I think that's a great piece of cinema. You should go see that new Richard Linklater movie instead. But
then we flash forward to 1982 and we see that Finn, the boy who was kidnapped in the first film and ultimately killed the grabber and his brother, or caused the grabber to kill his brother and then killed the grabber. He's beating up some kid on the playground because now he's getting picked on for, which I think is funny. Like, they're picking on him for being the kid who killed the serial killer. Like, and he continuously whoops these boys' asses. I don't know why they keep messing with him.
I don't know.
But then his sister Gwen pops up, and I'm sure this actor is a nice young lady, but I hated this character. Her dialogue is embarrassingly bad.
Yeah, Madeleine McGraw. She was nominated for a Saturn Award for her turn in the first film, but this in Black Phone 2 is full-blown Joey King. Is where we're going.
Well, because when we first meet her, it's trying to be 80s, and there's this boy named Ernesto who likes her and is trying to invite her to a Duran Duran concert, and she's saying things like, mint, radical choice. But then as the film goes on,
it's less copacetic.
Well, because then she develops a potty mouth from hell.
The dialogue, it was giving us both goosebumps.
She's saying things that I can't even say on this video, but it's so awkward and crazy.
Yeah.
But we find out, and I don't remember the first film, but I guess their mom had committed suicide, and the mom had visions, and Gwen has visions. And so in this film, she's having visions of 3 boys who were killed at this lake camp.
Camp Crystal Lake. Oh, I mean, Alpine Lake Lodge Christian Center.
Well, you can't help but think of Friday the 13th being at this camp. But she is convinced that something is trying to get her to go there so she can get answers. So she tries to convince her brother to go. He really doesn't want to. But then they find out from their dad, who's now sober.
Jeremy Davies. I think I liked him better as a campy, corny drunk than I do here, but...
that the mom used to work at Camp Crystal Lake.
Yeah.
So then the sister, Gwen, the daughter, is really convinced I have to go. So we cut to her and her new little boyfriend, Ernesto, driving her to the camp.
In a snowstorm from hell.
And then the brother, Finn, realizes, well, damn, I need to go and make sure my sister's fine. So the three of them go. There's a snowstorm from hell, like the worst snowstorm they've seen since the 50s. It's so bad that Finn has to get out of the car and walk in front of the car so they can see where they're going. They get to the camp and realize that the camp tried to call everyone to tell them don't show up because we're not going to be able to open because of the storm. But these three dummies didn't get the calls, so they are the only ones there. And then immediately, Gwen starts having these dreams. So then it's like Friday the 13th vibes, and the grabber is like Freddy Krueger. He's taunting both Finn and Gwen, but then he ends up giving up on Finn.
And the apparatus of the phone is involved in a way that I'm not sure about.
But before they even get there, Ernesto, he knows all about Finn and Gwen and what they went through.
Well, because his brother was one of the victims of the grabber.
And everyone knows, I guess, that Gwen had a premonition and that's what led to the grabber being captured. So he thinks that she's kind of cool because she's like a psychic.
Uh-huh.
And he brings her loteria cards, which she interprets as like tarot cards.
As love.
Did you think that she was going to do something with those cards?
I thought so. Otherwise, why show us that at all?
But spoiler, she doesn't do shit with those cards. Okay. Is it me? I'm not trying to be mean, but I had to look up how old the actor playing Gwen was. Because in some scenes, she plays like a tween. But then in some scenes, I thought this lady was like 29 years old.
It's that haircut, but yeah.
And then there are a couple of scenes where she has to get emotional and like cry.
Oh, those don't work. No.
But I think it's the direction.
Again, I think Scott Derrickson, he has worked with some very accomplished actors. Tilda, Sigourney, Ethan Hawke. I think they do fine on their own because they're accomplished.
Seasoned.
They're seasoned. I don't think he really knows how to direct a performance, however.
Oh my gosh. There's this subplot that Gwen is secretly religious. That I thought they were going to do more with. Because it's clear that the dad is not into religion, as he says. Neither is the brother, but the mom was.
Well, Gwen is like a true Christian woman because there are two other camp administrators who are supposedly Christian that act anything but.
But she's at the camp, on their first night, and she gets scared, so she ends up in bed with Ernesto, her new little boyfriend. And he hears her say a little prayer. She says, Jesus, don't let me have another dream tonight, please. And then he's like, oh, you pray? Yeah. And he goes, well, that's hot. Really? She's like, okay, well, my mom's Catholic, so she'll be happy to know I'm dating a girl who prays. Oh, so we're dating now. All the while, the brother is in earshot. There's so many moments in this film where it's like, oh, was it trying to be a comedy?
I think so. I think it is going for a laugh factor. And it did achieve that at the press screening we were at several times. Okay,
you already mentioned the office staff, but it's Barb, who doesn't like to be called Barb. It's Barbara, who does have nice hair.
They're coming for you, Barbara.
And I think it's her husband.
Maeve Beatty and Graham Abbey playing, yes, Barb and Kenneth.
And they're like full-on comic relief, I think.
Yeah.
But it's not funny to me.
No, in fact, it comes across as rude.
Well, but also Gwen is rude because the first time we meet the office staff, Gwen and Ernesto go in there and say, do you have any literature on the history of the camp? And Barb says, no, like this is not a historical site. This is just a camp. And then Gwen says something really nasty to her.
Well, first Barb goes, this is the young woman that snuck into the boys' dormitory. Because they make a big thing about that. It's like, well, yeah, but one of those boys was my brother, ma'am. Okay, and I was scared having nightmares. But whatever.
So at I believe it's breakfast or dinner, whatever. The man who runs the camp is played by
Damian Bashir, who's a quite accomplished Academy Award nominated actor.
his character's name, I think, is Armando, but they call him Mondo. So he's asking them, so like, what's up with you all? Because on your application, you didn't put that you go to church and like.
But we accepted you anyway.
But we
even though it was
accepted you
sus.
anyway. And they don't want to answer, but I think it's Finn who says, well, our mom went here. Do you know her? Her name was Hope something.
And this used to be her playground.
And he's like, no, there's some people who run up and through here. I don't know. Then I believe it's Gwen who shows him a picture of her.
Yeah.
And Mondo is like, OMG.
That's Skylight.
That's Starlight.
Yeah.
Because everyone had a camp name. He acted like they were soul sisters, but you didn't know her real name. But anyway, he's like, oh yeah, I knew Starlight. She was amazing. She was like, she lit up a room. Everyone loved her. She walked kids in nature.
True Scorpio realness.
What's up? What's up with your mom now? And they're like, she killed herself. And he's like, oh, shock to the heart. That was pretty bad.
Yep.
Okay. One positive, which is derivative, is whenever Gwen is in her like dreamscape, it's giving that like film reel look, but then that feels just like Sinister.
Yes, again, and then where Sinister really messes up, in my opinion, is when the spirits of the children show up, and Scott Derrickson does the exact same thing here. Yeah,
it definitely doesn't feel fresh, but I do think that the better moments are the dreamscape, because not that I want to see little kids get killed, but we do in those sequences we see the boys get killed, and clearly it was the grabber who did it. Those were the only moments that felt horror-like to me.
Yeah, because it's I think the nostalgia factor for how film used to look.
So then we go full Freddy Krueger with the grabber trying to kill Gwen in her sleep, and everyone witnesses her being flung around the room, and he almost throws her in like an incinerator, but they're able to save her.
Unfortunately, each time.
And then they all, like Mondo, the two staff members, his daughter, I think, is that his daughter Mustang?
Mustang, played
like
by
the horse, not the
Ariana
car.
Rivas, yeah.
She and the three kids, Gwen, Finn, and Ernesto, they all go to the chapel that has this really cool electric cross, which seemed kind of out of place for 1982 in this place. But anyway, they're talking about what's going on. And Barb is in the back acting real crazy. Like she's possessed by a demon. But then Mustang is saying, bitch, you know that for years now, there have been weird things happening. So don't act like this is the first time. And then Gwen's trying to explain, I have these dreams. And Mondo's like, baby, it's just you and me. Tell me what's going on. And so she's trying to explain. And they have like 5 portraits hanging on the wall. And Mondo's like thinking, he grabs one.
Well, he's like, the boys you're describing, what they were wearing, that's Snap, Crackle, and Pop. And I was here as a counselor when they were murdered, and we never found them.
25 years ago.
And the camp closed down, and then I bought it, and I'm an ex-felon, and I told the families that every day I would look for them, and oh, look at this picture on the wall.
So he pulls the picture, and he's like, oh, look, there's me, and there's your mom. And Finn grabs it, and he's like, holy shit, that's the grabber. And first of all, the picture looks so like photoshopped. But Mondo goes, oh my God, that's Bill, Wild Bill Hitchcock, whatever his name was. And then we realize that the dreams Gwen is having where the boys are killed, they're all floating under ice, like they're in a frozen lake. And they're carving letters in the ice, and the initials they carve are WBH.
Although on the other side of the ice where the water is lapping up against it, I don't know that you could really etch anything.
Anyway,
that's just
they realized like, oh, Bill, who used to be the custodian at the camp 25 years ago, he must have killed those boys. And then I guess he turned into the grabber. I don't remember the first film, but do we get a background on how he started?
No.
Because this one,
well, maybe. I don't remember.
I don't remember.
I didn't like that film either.
But we don't get any background on how he went from killing 3 boys at a camp to 20 plus years later snatching kids as the grabber. But
the mechanism here is that his only semblance of power remains because his first 3 victims, these young boys' bodies have never been discovered. Therefore, they're not at rest. So now that even though dead, the grabber, Wild Bill Hickok, is able to come back to the same area code presumably, and still exist and terrorize as long as those 3 boys' corpses are not just found.
Basically, they surmise that they can kill the grabber if they put those 3 boys to rest. So they have to find the bodies, and they determine that the bodies are in a lake
Based on her visions.
that the grabber used to skate on. So we find out that he's an accomplished ice skater. So we get a scene where the grabber is on his Adam Rapon on this frozen lake. But can we talk about the frozen lake? So it never thaws in Colorado?
It does.
Is there permafrost in Colorado?
Colorado thaws, yes. It has
Because when they find the first boy, that body is just floating at the top of this lake.
Okay, Damien Bashir says at dawn we're going to go, but his dumbass goes before that. He looks, he's just right that spot, right there in the middle of the lake. Oh, there's a barrel and a body in the barrel. I found it. And he starts sledgehammering into call the authorities, man. What?
At one point, Mondo is trying to talk to Finn because after they've witnessed that, there's this evil entity stalking them in their sleep, Mondo approaches Finn and says, "You've really been through it, huh, kid?" "Yeah, I was kidnapped 3 years ago and killed the person who killed me, tried to kill me and a bunch of other kids he killed, and then he's haunting me in my sleep. So yes, I've been through it." I feel so bad for that actor. Every word of dialogue.
Who, Damien Bashir?
Yes.
Yes, well, all of them actually, it's really no fault of their own, so we should be dragging C. Robert Cargill and Scott Derrickson.
I think Gwen and Finn's dad has nothing to do because now that he's sober, he's acting right. And as Finn is leaving to go to the camp, he tells his dad, don't drink. He's like, "I've been sober for 3 years, I'm not going to drink." And then we see him at one point watching a commercial for beer, but I don't know what the purpose of that was, to make us think he's tempted. But he doesn't drink.
I would have rather seen that Fred Williamson commercial.
But he does end up borrowing a snowplow and making his way up to the camp.
Which is giving, Scatman Crothers and The Shining vibes, which, of course, was written by Stephen King. And we have Stephen King's son, Joe Hill, to be responsible for.
But when the dad shows up, that was kind of a corny extended scene because the dad's like, "Okay, let's go." And Finn is saying, "Yeah, girl, let's go." She's like, "I'm not leaving. I am not leaving." And everyone's confused. And the dad's like, "Are you having those dreams again?" And then Gwen goes on this rant about how Finn smokes weed, just like how the dad used to drink to hide from their feelings. She's yelling at them. And the brother is acting like he's going to swing on her. But finally, she's like, "We have to put this to rest." And then
Triangulated trauma.
Gwen tells her brother, "You're the bravest person I know." This is after telling him that all he does is bury his head in the sand. Ma'am, those sentiments don't go together.
Nope, all terrible.
So the final showdown is on this permafrost lake in Colorado where the grabber has shown up doing triple lutzes. And
Tanya Harding.
Somehow, so then in the dream state, Gwen is jumping into the water and she finds the other 2 bodies.
Apparently all of the bodies need to do is surface and touch oxygen, touch another human hand.
There's no acknowledgement except they've just been surfaced. But at a point, because the grabber can attack people in reality, but they can't see him. But then Finn is able to assault the grabber even though he can't see him. I was very confused by that.
Nonsense. Well, I mean, at this point, why not?
But they kill the grabber, Finn bashes his head in on the ice and they dump him in the lake. I'm assuming, they killed him in real life in the first one and now they've killed him in hell. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's going to be a Black Phone 3.
I don't know. It's like when you delete an email and then it's in your trash bin. And then when you really truly delete it, after it's out of the trash bin,
I guess.
So is the grabber finally gone? I'd be fine with that.
So when daylight comes, we see that Mondo is calling the families of the dead boys to tell them he has an update.
I know it's been a long time.
And then the final scene is we're back to this horrible CGI on this frozen lake with the one payphone.
That's right by the lake. It's on the water, basically.
If this were to thaw, it would be in the water.
Yeah, no.
But the phone starts ringing, and luckily Finn and Gwen are walking by with their luggage, and Gwen answers the phone.
And what did I lean over to you and I said?
It's the mom. And sure enough, it's Hope, the woman who called in the beginning, 1952, keeps calling. Now she's just calling to check up on her daughter. She's like, hey girl, how you feeling?
I don't have long. Tell your brother I love him.
And then Gwen says, I have one question to ask you. Okay. Am I going to be cursed like this forever?
Like she's a GD werewolf.
And she says, it's not a curse. It's a gift. Okay.
We also didn't get into the fact that it's revealed that the mother never killed herself.
Oh, so the mother never killed herself. She caught the grabber having abducted some boy. Like she saw the boy in the basement. I'm not sure how she put...
I don't know, but she drove to his house. She's wandering around.
She had a premonition.
And the grabber is at his own house with black balloons just lurking around the corner.
With the mask on, and has this boy in the basement with the window fully open so anyone can see. He sees that she found him out. So she kidnaps him with 50 black balloons.
Uh-huh.
But this is in the dream state that the grabber is showing Gwen. He says he wants to be nice to her. And I want you to know the truth. Your mama didn't kill herself. I killed her because she knew what I was doing. So the grabber killed the mom 7 years ago to then 4 years ago, then kidnapped the brother.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
But not bring that up to Finian when he was in the basement, that there was some extra delicious evil.
This feels like the movie made money, so they're like, let's make another one, but we don't have any ideas, but we need to start filming in 30 days. And they just came up with this nonsense. It really does feel so derivative of like many other horror films.
Including from the filmmaker's own oeuvre.
Except they added a payphone. They just slapped a payphone on a lake.
This phone, actually, I held this film in such contempt. And it has the audacity to be nearly 2 hours.
Yeah.
Because halfway through it was like, oh, we're at 90 minutes. It's got to be almost done. I'm like, no. So I spent a long time in the theater coming up. Also, the laziness of the title, the Black Phone 2. Give us a parenthetical. The Devil's Dial Tone. Off the Hook. Blood Booth. You Can't Grab My Soul. The Wretched Rotary. Devil Digits. Extension 666. Or the blacker the phone, the tighter the noose.
Ugh. Well, to end on that, this feels like it's an entirely different genre of film from the first one.
Uh-huh. Yes. Well, I don't think Mr. Hill had anything to do with this cash grab, but yeah, I don't know. It's shockingly lazy. You're getting like a prime time birth Halloween season for a film that was relatively well regarded, albeit I didn't like the first one either, but somehow this was worse. I was thinking we can only go up from here. Like maybe they will be able to, have a little more freedom with the sequel. But
I actually thought, like, based on what we saw, it would have been better if we just have these kids go to the camp and they realize that they were sort of brought there by the mom's subliminal messages. And when they're there, they find out the truth about the grabber and how he's all connected. Even though it's a ridiculous story, I think it's made more ridiculous by these extra characters, this weird comedic tone.
Well, it's like, get the mythos of the grabber correct. Like, there were siblings of other victims that he killed, and maybe for some reason he gets more strength if he kills more of the family line. Like, or why make it House on Haunted Hill and have all these people gathered there for mysterious reasons or something?
Or why not have an origin story of Wild Bill Hickok, or whatever his name is, at Camp Crystal Lake, and how he killed those 3 boys.
Yeah, and hire one of Ethan Hawke's kids.
What would you give Black Phone 2?
I gave Black Phone a 1 out of 5. Again, I know I'm in the minority on that film, but I like this even less. I couldn't stand one single moment of it. This is a 0.5. I think it's ridiculous that this was churned out by all of these people that have all the resources at their fingertips. 0.5.
I don't know what I gave the first one, but I would give this one 1 out of 5. Join us on Patreon and listen to our podcast. Bye.